How's it, bro?
How are you, boy? It's good to see you.
What did that feel like walking back into the studio?
Sorry, dude. A lot has changed. Yeah. A lot has changed. I didn't know what this would feel like. The kitchen still smells good, though. Yeah, I don't even recognize the place anymore. Felt strange, it felt good. Felt, welcoming, like home. It's just home that you haven't seen in a long time.
I think that I've always had this terrifying fear in me that you would get to a point where the new you wasn't the old you, and that this wasn't going to be a part of that. And maybe some of the longest and the most arduous and most transformative journeys bring you right back to where you started.
Yeah. And I think you're right. To a certain extent, the new me is not the old me. But there's certainly elements of the old me that remain that I think have stood me in good stead. And, throughout whatever it is that has happened over the past couple of years, I think one thing that I could never want to even let go of is this desire that I have to be a force of positivity in people's lives and have them smile and, have them be a part of whatever it is that I am a part of and walk out of that situation feeling better than they were when they got there. So, yeah, obviously there have been many touch and go moments where self-talk, self-identity was questioned. Like, who am I? What am I here for? What am I good for? But I've worked my way through it with the help of friends and family and just the many people whom I've met in person or on social media that have just constantly had this message, get up, get up. Like, no matter what, just get up and start again. And we'll be there to support you. We'll be there. You can't pay for that.
Well, that's the groundwork that you've laid for the 15 years of the career building up to this pivotal moment, this time, this gateway that you were pushed to go through. Sometimes life maybe gently nudges you, sometimes it punches you in the face, sometimes it takes a sledgehammer and smashes you over the back of the head.
Yeah.
If you think back to that time, which I don't even know if you've got cogent thought in that time, and I don't expect that you have got it all laid down, but if you go back to that beginning, that when the world started to transform so dramatically around you, did you have any inkling when the dominoes started to fall of what was coming?
Not at all. No. I think for a large part of my life, even pre-Espresso, things were just in such a locked mode and in such a beautiful flowing mode. It was the engines were working. It flowed from one thing to the next so effortlessly. And so as the proverbial sledgehammer you describe, going at the engine, when it happens, all you can do, or all I could do for that moment is step back and look at the pieces of what lay around me and mourn it, because I did. I had to mourn it. It was a death of sorts,
Yeah.
if you will. But at some point, you can either sit and mourn for a very long time to the point where you don't know how to even get up anymore, or you make the decision that no matter what, today I have to get up. I will find a reason to get up and put that one foot forward. And then hopefully you do that enough, one foot in front of the other, every day until the reason that you started with has cemented itself somewhere in your being, so that you generate a momentum again and you can start picking up the good pieces of what was broken and remold them into something new.
When everything else is stripped away, and this is something, again, that I've been trying to grapple with, and I could have used your perspective along the way. What do you know about your character now that you've been forced to sit there and take that kind of audit, take that kind of look into yourself, and what are you left with when everything is stripped away, and how did you find that way back? What was that reason?
I think the acceptance of imperfection definitely sticks out. Not that in any way, shape or form I had ever regarded myself as being perfect, but the pursuit of that perfection that is elusive and perhaps unattainable, that I was constantly on the path of and trying to touch. And the acceptance of that imperfection, that I'm an imperfect human being, and that is in its own way quite beautiful. That realization came to me even more so once I had my son. Each time I would look at him and look at the way that he looks at me and how he tries to imitate me in certain things that he does, I had to find a certain stability within myself of acceptance, where perhaps he would learn in the years to come to accept himself for whom he is. And I kept saying this almost as a way of hearing it said out loud, is, man, I'm made of strong stuff. Like, I have to believe that I'm made of stronger stuff than this. I look at my son, who's 4 years old now, and I imagine that life is going to throw all kinds of challenges his way. And I'd like him to have that voice inside him that says, no matter what, I'm made of strong stuff. Like, it's an important part of one's character. For me, it's pulled me through some of the darkest times, touch and go kind of moments.
What was the darkest moment? Was there a moment where you thought maybe you'd been pushed too far?
Of course, of course. And I think in the very beginning, where, that picture that you painted, that everything, it didn't matter whether it was 10, 15, whatever years that you'd put into something, everything at one moment became impermanent. And there was a moment where, I thought the darkest thoughts, and I don't want to belabor the point too much. I think everyone goes through their own individual trials, and you think, but wouldn't it be better if it was just done? Just quickly, now, done. And then, my family wouldn't have to worry about having to call me every day, deal with this, all of it. But then that's where the reason, right? The reason for it all needs to come from somewhere. And for me, that was Phoenix. Yeah, it's hard to put into words what, and I think you would know it, having two beautiful little ones and what they mean to you. And
I think many of the fans especially would have found it inexplicable to see you making the choices that you were making, withdrawing in the way that you were. I could understand it completely. I could understand every single pressure point saying, okay, what would I do for my son? I'd deal with it. I'd endure and I'd take it on. Doesn't matter. You will endure anything for your son. Yeah. But you're now at the peak of your powers. And I used to tease you about the skill set that you had and probably push you a little bit too hard in some areas to maybe kick off on the musical front a bit more, which we'll get onto in a moment. But to have faced that, and this is something that you and I would report on every day, the likes of the Will Smiths and the people going through these gateways where so much of how we see ourselves is built from the perception that we get. And we live on this platform where we get that en masse. You were the most talked about, most searched celebrity in South Africa for a particular period. And I remember seeing that on that day and just thinking, this is art imitating life, imitating...
It was madness.
It was absolute madness. Have you been able to reconcile that?
I think the importance of the positive use of the platform that we have has been emphasized a million times over. It's become so important for me to have a conscious separation of the work that I do and who I am, and who it is that I am behind the scenes when I seek that separation of life, and have confidence that that is okay, because everyone is doing that. We are all, as human beings, trying to figure it out. Read all the books you want, attend all of the lectures you want, and it's great to be able to take from those instances and steal some nuggets, but you have to figure out your own recipe. Part of the passion for me from the very beginning, 12 years ago, 2010, when we started this show, was the idea of waking up and having a South African, wherever they are and whatever's happening in their life, to make the choice to tune into that show called Expresso, because in it they find some semblance of being, they find some meaning, they find some purpose, they find a perspective that lights the way for the day.
And I think we forget that that is a two-way flow. Yes, we give that, that's our mandate to be that, and authentically we do that. That's been the one thing about this show, is it's authentically feel good. It's not lip service, we actually do that. One thing I didn't realize, or that's been reinforced, is that we get that as well. And I think what really, when I rely so heavily on that as a survival mechanism, going through the challenges that we have, and I think of you being in the space that you are, not having that on tap. How did you find that? Where did you get that energy? Was it?
You know that feeling of when you've gone out into the world and you've explored everything that there is to explore, but then there's always home, and you go back home and you realize the importance of home. I remember, about 1.5 years into it, I'd literally cooped myself up into my apartment and didn't see outside for quite some time, and I decided I'm just going to go home for a good 3 days, just for nothing else but just to be at home. And my mom and my aunt cooked one of those typical 7 colors Sunday meals, and I sat there looking at this plate, and memories of how I grew up and the people that have poured so much love into my life to bring me to where I am just came flooding back, and I cried over that plate. And I think when you talk about that ebb and flow that we experienced, well, let's say being partners on the show and with everyone that we worked with, those people became more than colleagues. It was family, it was a community. And I was very, very fortunate that that village for me existed not only in my close circle of family and friends, but even stretched outside to the social media world, to people who every day, without fail, there would be an email, a message, and you go, wow, okay. So if Katlego or Johnny or whatever, okay, they care, okay, then maybe there is something to kind of move forward towards, and you build the strength up to kind of get up. And 8 months, 9 months later, I found myself on the promenade, and I just took this picture of the ocean, which has always been such a beautiful place for me. And I decided, well, this is where I come alive again. And yeah, it was quite crazy, the response and the reception that came about after that, and just humbled me even more. And I'm ever so grateful, because if it wasn't for those people who, every day were saying, come back, stand up, we've got you, you can do this, I definitely would not have been where I am right now.
Hopes and dreams. I used to look to you for my rudder, because you were so ambitious, you were so goal-driven, and you were doing so unbelievably well in every facet of your life. It kind of felt like if I needed that little reality check, or if I was starting to tap off in a certain area, maybe it was being on a stage and getting that space kind of locked down, maybe it was looking at the side hustle, the idea of improving those skills, honing your talent, those sorts of things, I would always look to you. Wow. You weren't doing it all wrong. It's not like those dreams were bad dreams, that ambition was bad ambition. What are those dreams now? Is that still at the core of who you are professionally? Because you were getting it right, dude. You were absolutely crushing it. And you've got it, and I'm sure that compounded the loss and that feeling of loss so much more. Are you still that same cat inside? Where are your hopes and dreams right now?
Wow, what a question. Hopes and dreams certainly still are there. I have an internal locus of control that is aimed towards something, but it is new. And those hopes and dreams, and I will never tire of saying this, are in my relationship with my child. And especially when I look at the fact that, a lot of people look at the past couple of years and they look at the downside of it. You talk about the loss and all of those things, and I see the benefit that I have had a solid 2.5 years of core quality time with my son. And nothing could ever replace that. No amount of money or dream or ambition or achievement or whatever could ever replace that. But yes, I want to take him around the world. I want to show him what the world is all about. I want to impress upon him the importance of connections with human beings and being able to harness those and have empathy and understanding. When I look at his interactions with not just adults, but with his peers as well, and how he handles himself in situations, it's absolutely amazing. Of course, I still would love to make a mark on the South African broadcasting scene, knowing and understanding how important this platform is in shaping the country. Every single day we have that responsibility on us. There's my passion for music, which will never be.
When am I going to get my album? That's all I'm trying to
You need to
build
stop asking me that question. The pressure is too much. It's too much.
Now look,
yeah.
The single that I'm hearing about is enough, I think.
Okay,
buddy.
so
I
you've
think
heard about it.
That's enough.
That's amazing.
Enough.
That's amazing.
That box was ticked. The crazy thing is,
Wow.
you and I think, are, because of the job, are very good at talking the talk. It's one thing kind of representing what a good dad is. It's another thing having to earn that right. Do you feel that you've now earned the right to call yourself father because of what you've been through now?
Wow.
And how important has that been for you and your personal growth and development to understand what it is to actually be a dad, to have gone through this journey? Because it's not just about you looking the part, but you've had to walk it, buddy.
Wow, have I earned the badge? I think only one person could ever answer that, and that's him, one day when he's able to articulate it. I certainly have moments where I feel, proud of my dadding, if that's a thing. And it's stupid things. Like about a week ago, he was trying to ride his bicycle onto a little ledge, and he had fallen off, and he became scared of wanting to do it again. And it took me like a good 10 minutes to talk him through it, to help him to understand failure, falling as a metaphor, getting hurt, but then being able to get back up on the bike and try it again and keep trying. And ultimately he did it. And when he did, it's those moments that make me go, yes, he got it. It clicked. What a little champ he is, man. Yeah, there's not much more that I want to kind of delve into when it comes to him.
I think it's time that you don't get back.
Absolutely.
So I'm so glad that you've had that. When I sit in this space, it's weird. It's taken all of about 15 minutes to feel this kind of click falling into place. When you sit in the space and you kind of feel that vibe and that energy, what did you miss the most about not being on this show, dude?
I mean, you only need to look at the amount of time we spent now in conversation where, walking in here, I was a ball of nerves. I mean, I'd been here many, many times before, but it felt like the first time, and the emotions ran high, and I guess it was unavoidable. I didn't plan for it to be so, but here we are now, and I feel genuine love and warmth, and it's reciprocated. The smile is real. It's that family, man, and I missed that, because no matter what was happening in my life around me, I would always be able to walk through that door and know that there'd be a surge of like, welcome home, how are you doing today? And I missed that. I really, really missed that kickstart engine to the day. And we would walk out of here feeling like we could conquer the world every single time. And I missed that, because I think it was a natural part of my bubbly energy that I feel like I had. And, for a time, that flame was kind of extinguished. So being here, being with you again, and wow, it's absolutely amazing.
I feel like I have an opportunity here to plug into almost a monk-like wisdom that has been honed through the fire. And I think you're going to have to excuse me for indulging myself, because I didn't realize how much of my processing and my catharsism actually happened in these kinds of discussions, being able to work through ideas with you and our amazing guests that we have. But it's something that I certainly lean on. So I'm gonna round this off with one question, but and don't worry, it's only the most important question in all of the universe. What is the most valuable thing now? What is this gig all about for you moving forward?
It always has been, remains, and always will be about the South African viewer who chooses to tune into this show every single day. Because on some level, they depend on this platform and this show to give them that starting momentum to the day. They understand that after being here for a half an hour, for 2 hours, whatever you're doing, just absorbing this energy is something that is so important in steering your day. It has been for me, and it's the kind of ethos with which I approach this job. I have so much incredible respect for the people who choose to be a part of this family every day. And it's family for me. And that's by far the most important thing.
This whole time I've been wondering, am I welcoming you back? Am I welcoming a new man into the space? And it kind of feels like a little bit of both, my friend. Seeing you now in front of me has made me realize how much I've forget about the rest of the country, how much I've missed you, Vera, and how much I need you
in this
space.
Likewise.
You look
Likewise.
good, man. You look good. You feel good. You sound amazing. That laugh hasn't changed. And I'm so proud of you for stepping back into the space in this way. And I'm so grateful that I have you back, even if it's just for 5 minutes right now, so that I can do my weird inner outward processing thing and have my mate back to talk to. Yeah, you're my brother, and this family has missed you, my friend.
Yeah,
we have missed you so much.
I've missed you too, and everyone as well. And to every single person who has prayed for this moment and willed it to come to fruition, thank you from the bottom of my heart. I could not tell you how much this means to me. And here's to many more feel-good mornings.
And the single's coming.
Oh, goodness.
A live performance is coming in just a moment.
A new beginning. A new beginning. A new beginning. I still feel like I need to sit down and really just take it all in. Draw it all in. I didn't realize how important this, and it's not it's this place and it's the people.
Yeah.
Because what we do on camera is such a magnification of what is happening in this microcosm of family that we've built here, right? And I didn't realize for a long time how important that aspect of it was. And then once it's not there, the vacuum is there, and you're like, what is my life? You still wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, you look around, you're like, what am I gonna do?
I think the thing for me is it's that, like, we've gotten so used to having your validation on tap. And now it's like when it's just you're left alone only with yourself. It's like,
yeah.
Okay.
But it's not even so much the validation, because that was great. And I'm talking about this validation here that matters, that I can touch and feel and breathe the same air with. That, when I withdrew, I would kind of think, what is Graham thinking right now about the situation? Should I reach out and have a chat with him? Should we just break away from this and go on a hike on a mountain and just chat and be brothers like we were? So it was that validation that I most missed. That which happened outside was absolutely great, and it's so empowering. But it's when you go, for that walk, and you meet those people who come from the outside in, and they touch your life in a very real sense. And it's not just a profile picture with a name and an emoji. It's a person. Like, that matters a lot.
And we've got to, I think that's the thing. For me now, it feels like after this COVID thing, because we've all been through this experience together, the world over, it's the same wherever I go. It's like we've had this shared experience of humanity that has just changed everything for me now. Like that, I almost don't want it to go back. I want that authenticity.
Yeah.
But also there's so much still that we need to achieve within this industry and with this show, but within our space now, and it kind of feels like we can do that on a whole different level. But I need you around to do it, man.
Same. We need each other. We need each other. The elders were right, eh? Ubuntu.
Yeah, man.
They were right.